that he's going to retire and that he's not living like an athlete who's fighting at the top level anymore, and that he's not interested and he's not in the gym and etc. But I knew that there was going to be a decision made by the UFC coming.
No way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Thomas Aspinall has broken his silence, and the MMA community is in a frenzy. Mere days after Jon Jones announced his retirement from the UFC, the story has taken a dramatic turn. Jones is now hinting at a return, under one surprising condition. He's reportedly told Dana White and others that he's open to fighting again, but only if the bout takes place at the White House.
The world. Jon Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, potentially, possibly. The guy that retired recently, about 2 weeks ago, because he didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, because he'd been there, done it, he's living his best life, he's got nothing more to prove. He walked away from the sport, essentially undefeated. He has been retired for 2 weeks, maybe less than that. That gets a bit blurry depending on what the timeline is, but according to Twitter, apparently, according to Twitter, his Twitter, not general hearsay, Jon Jones has unretired. That is correct. He says that he is now back in the testing pool. Check this out. So, of course, the UFC shares this, and this is very nice of the UFC. Jon Bones Jones, the greatest of all time. And he just might be, we'll get to that after. There's others, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Habib Nurmagomedov. The list goes on. Ilia Topuria, right? So he shares that. Okay, great. Of course, why not? I'd share that as well. I'd retweet it. And then this, fighting at the White House. That piqued his curiosity. You might have saw Donald Trump is saying that they're going to do a fight at the White House next year with 25,000 people. And I did a video on that, and I was like, you know what? Maybe that would be the fight for Jon Jones to come out of retirement. And then the very next tweet, there it is, just re-entered the testing pool. And at the time of me doing this, 4th of July, just about to start the barbecue, about to have a few beers, 37 minutes ago, just re-entered the testing pool. That lasted for about 2 weeks. Figured we'd keep everyone's options open. Now, we'll have a look at the comments on that in just a second. I don't know what to think of this. I don't know if Jon's having a laugh, if he's being silly, if he's just taking the piss, or if he's actually serious.
That's right. After Donald Trump publicly expressed interest in bringing a UFC event to the White House, Jon Jones wasted no time reacting. He quickly threw his hat in the ring, saying he's fully on board if the fight really goes down at that iconic location.
You know what? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal.
Tom Aspinall isn't staying quiet anymore. In a recent interview, he didn't hold back, calling out what he sees as blatant hypocrisy. He criticized Jon Jones for sitting out for months, officially retiring, and now suddenly being eager to return, just because of Trump's involvement and the potential of a high-profile venue. Aspinall called the whole situation not only strange but downright disrespectful to him and to the entire heavyweight division.
Managers in this sport have to keep their relationships with the UFC.
Yeah.
And it's a real problem, and there's many layers to this issue. Managers are afraid to back their fighters because of the repercussions on their relationships with the UFC, and it's all over the place. They will serve the UFC before they serve their fighters, as far as I'm concerned. But to see a guy with only one fighter and not have to worry about this at all, and just be like, do you know what? This was bullshit. You know, essentially just be like, this is not cool. I thought it was class. Do we have some quotes there on our John? I don't know if you put them up there. Oh, here we go. This is from the article up on Uncrowned. And believe me, this has nothing to do with me if this is a good article. I am just writing 50 words. Here's Andy. 50 words. Here's Andy. Here it is. I can't think of a worse way you could have done it. This is the announcement of Tom as the new champion. I don't know if pathetic is the word. I just feel they didn't think about it. I don't think Tom deserved to find out at a press conference in the middle of the night.
Yeah. It's got a point.
It's poor man management of Jones and Tom. I like the personnel at the UFC, but for me, they just don't do things right sometimes. I think he's right. Well, okay, go ahead. Sorry. And here it is on Jones. Like, I mean, just feels like he was knocking fucking home run balls out of the park. Like everything that everyone felt. Yeah. He's just like, and here's this one.
I know.
As soon as Jones got injured and said he needed a year off before he fought.
What is now going to happen in your career going forward in the heavyweight division? All right. What are your feelings towards him?
First of all, thanks for keeping it short, because I have said that I'm not going to speak about it anymore. My feelings towards him, I just wish him all the best. Genuinely wish him all the best. If he feels satisfied with what he's done, which he's saying he is, and he's happy to leave like that, then I genuinely wish him all the best.
Do you think that is it?
I don't know him. Don't know him at all. Met him once. Don't know anything about him, so I don't know.
Say it, was short?
It was short and sweet, thank you.
No, but you can understand that has been quite a huge part of the narrative over the last
of course.
12 months, and a lot of fight fans will have their attitudes as to why that decision has been made and what have you. I kind of agree with you. At the end of the day, with the legacy that he's had and what he's done in the sport, he has the right to make a decision for himself. Personally, as a fight fan, I just wish that he'd done it a little bit earlier, so therefore we wouldn't have had that narrative over the last 12 months, because I can imagine it's been incredibly frustrating for you from a personal point of view and a professional point of view as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I feel like a broken record, keep banging on, but all I wanted to do was fight. I just wanted to fight. I've not been to work, mate, for nearly a year. I know people see me online and doing all the rest of it, but my main job is fighting people. That's what I do. I've not done that for almost a year, and none of it has had anything to do with me.
Right, perfect. This is where I want to go with,
Okay,
right? Because I think a lot of people have an understanding of you. I'd like to say that obviously we spent a bit of time, so I kind of like to get inside your head a little bit more and pick the little things that go on inside. How have you dealt with that? Because I remember speaking to you during the time that you were out injured with your knee. That was a tough challenge from a psychological point of view.
Yeah.
This is different, because when you're out with your knee, it's on me now. I'm going to get fit and get my knee back, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. The last 12 months hasn't been kind of on you. So how was that a different mental challenge?
And I can say this now that it's over, because the thing with me, when I'm in difficult situations, I try not to complain about it as much. This last year has been more difficult than that.
To fight Stipe in that highly anticipated fight. Stipe, one of the greatest of all time, obviously a decorated champion who had not fought in several years, full-time firefighter at that point. Here he is talking to Kevin Iole on his great platform about the prospect of fighting Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall's the guy that people want to see you fight, right? So here's the question. You're fighting Stipe Miocic, and I know you're focused on that fight. If you defeat him, as you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight, if you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. More than likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall is, I don't want to say nobody, but he just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. And I understand that. I mean, he won his belt against Sergey. Sergey just got slaughtered by someone else. So it's just like, I'm not here to gamble someone else making a name off of me.
At that point, by the way, Tom had won his UFC debut. He beat Jake Collier via a 45-second knockout. He then beat Alain Badeau in a minute and 35 seconds via TKO. He submitted Andrei Arlovsky, John's good friend, in the second round, a minute and 9 seconds. He TKO'd Sergey Spivak. He submitted Alexander Volkov. He blew out his knee against Curtis Blades, came back a year later and TKO'd Marcin Tybura in a minute and 13 seconds. He knocked out Sergey Pavlovich in 69 seconds. That's what Tom, the quote-unquote nobody, had done up until that point. Pretty much beat everyone that he could have, other than the top dog, who clearly did not want to.
Now suddenly, Jones is ready to fight, but not when Tom was calling him out, and not when fans were demanding it. Only now, with the White House as a potential stage and the media spotlight blazing, does he seem interested. That was the clear message behind Tom Aspinall's words. The MMA fanbase is sharply divided. Some say it's vintage Jon Jones, always waiting for the perfect headline moment before making his return. Others believe this was the plan all along, and that retirement was just a smokescreen. But here's where it gets even more surprising. The UFC might actually be entertaining the idea. Trump's statement about hosting a UFC event at the White House has stirred things up, and Dana White hasn't dismissed it. In fact, rumors suggest talks are already happening behind closed doors. If this event comes to life, a Jones vs. Aspinall clash at the White House could either be remembered as the most bizarre spectacle in UFC history, or one of the most iconic matchups of all time. Still, underneath all the headlines is a very real issue: Tom Aspinall's growing frustration. As the interim champ, he stayed committed, fighting consistently, showing respect, and doing everything the UFC has asked of him. Now, with Jones trying to take the spotlight on his own terms, it feels like Tom is being sidelined yet again.
What has changed in 2 weeks' time? Of course, Trump talking about a fight at the White House.
We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House.
Yeah, okay, maybe maybe that's it. I don't think it is that. I do think that he would want to fight at the White House, and I'm sure that every single fighter is going to want to do that. A lot of them are raising their hands. Conor McGregor's put his hand up. Michael Chandler's interested. Sean Strickland's definitely going to want to be there. Mr. 1776, of course, him versus Tom Aspinall, England versus USA, 1776, all over again at the White House. Unbelievable. Of course, that should be top of the bill, right? But is that really what's going on? Is it just the fact that they're going to do a fight at the White House, or has something else changed? The fact that he's re-entered the testing pool means he's not messing around, okay? Now, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Twitter responses, because you never know, maybe there's a bit of bullshit going on here. I'm finding this out just as you are if you're seeing this for the first time. Guess who will be waiting for you if you decide to come back. Hello, John. Of course, there's Tom Aspinall. Sir, this event is for real fighters. See, that's what we're talking about. The legacy will be a little bit tainted because everyone thinks that he was avoiding Jon Jones, and John in the White House only makes sense. No other American champions right now. Well, that is a good point. I talked about that in the other video as well. There isn't any American champions right now other than Jon Jones. Well, Jon Jones is retired. Tom Aspinall is the undisputed champion. And Tom Aspinall, to be honest, is absolutely sick of all this shit. And he's just happy that everything has now moved on. Tom Aspinall has a new opponent and a location. Apparently it's going to get announced soon.
Like, the guy I'm fighting next is the most dangerous guy that I'm ever going to have to fight.
Got to think that's Cyril Gane. God knows where it's going to be. More than likely Las Vegas, somewhere in America anyway. It ain't going to be in France. It ain't going to be in the UK. Tom's last pay-per-view was in the UK in the middle of the night. It's going to be in America on prime time. That's for damn sure. Probably Cyril Gane. Now, the big question is why is he doing this? If we take it at face value and we say that Jon Jones is serious, okay? What has changed? I don't think that in 2 weeks' time, all the fan backlash, because there's a lot of people that support him, and of course he just shared a post from the UFC, and there's a lot of people in, old school fans that still very, very much support Jon Jones and still look at his legacy as the person that was one of the greatest to ever do it. That's without a shadow of a doubt, that beat generations of champions. But there's a lot of people that are talking shit. I don't think it's people talking shit online that's going to influence him.
If it was so public, for me personally, I don't know if my ego could take it, having not done it. But that's honestly, that's his prerogative. I don't hold any ill will against him for it, and I'm happy to move on with my career now that it's over. Because you got to remember, I've not fought for nearly a year now because of this. So I'm glad that is behind us now.
Do you, in part, I guess, take this as a bit of a compliment that there was such huge public pressure for him to fight you? And actually the route that he chose was to retire instead of fighting you. I mean, that's quite a compliment for someone of Jon Jones' stature.
I try not to let my ego take control of me. I could see why people would think that. But to me, it's just like, maybe when I've retired, when I've retired myself, which is not going to happen in the next couple of years at least, I'll think about that kind of.
The big question now, will the UFC finally give Tom Aspinall the reins to lead the heavyweight division, or are they really considering letting Jon Jones swoop in and take over the narrative all over again?
Telling us for quite some time, I already told the UFC my plans. I'm not sure why they haven't done anything with it, but it seems as though as he continued to try and hint at what his plans were, the UFC felt like their hand was forced and they had to put it out there. Because at this point, what are we waiting for? Now, Tom Aspinall is coming to Las Vegas this week. He will be there back end of the week. He was told that a decision would be made by International Fight Week. Why I think this is ludicrous that it all went down like this was we had waited so long for the resolution to this issue. Could they have not done something in Las Vegas in front of all the fans before the press conference, after the press conference, before the weigh-ins, after the weigh-ins, in the middle of the card on Saturday, before the fight, after the fight, presenting Tom with the belt, saying, you are the man, this is the glamour division, you are the baddest man on the planet, you're the heavyweight champion, you've done it all right, everything we've asked of you. Why not do it like that? He's literally going to be there in a couple of days. Where every media member, every fan is going to be there. You do it like this? In a throwaway, midway through a press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, in the middle of the night over there, when no one's paying attention, you do it like that? What is
interim champion? They only make an interim champion when the champion cannot defend the belt. So for Jon Jones, he couldn't defend the belt because he tore his pec muscle. So the interim champion means he should be fighting the champion right off the bat. That's not the case with Jon Jones, right? Because Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic. So the interim champion is supposed to sit there and wait. But by law, in like the regulations, once Jon Jones steps in the cage, he is stripped of his interim champion because the champion has returned. There is no longer for interim champion. What is the point of having an interim champion when the champion is ready to fight?
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of difficult, like mentally, to.
Oh yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones. Like, not the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and. I'm trying my best. I'm trying. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're in office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like, I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's just about the title for me.
Yep.
I just want the title. That's it.
Yep.
Does nothing else really matter. So
you're like, let me do my thing. Let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon. It's no disrespect to anybody out there. You're just trying to fight. Yeah. I just want.
Nah, man. Jon's retired. What are we talking about, guys? Jon, you guys don't follow Jon on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that.
No, me too, actually. Me too, but the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career, we all know. We know Jon's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again. Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So Jon's retired and it's time that we move.
Jon Jones, just as he predicted, Tom Aspinall over a year ago, I think, said, I will retire this man without even having to fight him. He's never going to fight me. And despite all the umming and ahhing and all the fucking pretending that he was going to actually ever get in the cage with Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones has done what we always knew he was going to do. He's tucked tail and ran. Imagine calling yourself a goat and yet behaving like such a duck. I mean, this is like back in the playground. Jon Jones has got a bike. Tom Aspinall's come over and goes, give us your bike now. What you have to do then is fight. You have to defend what your shit is and say, no, you're not going to take this. And do you know what Jon Jones did? You have it. I don't want to fight. You can have it. This is unbelievable. The greatest of all time. What a load of shit. I'm sorry. Never going to call that him the GOAT ever again. Because being the greatest of all time is not just about winning. And that's what Jon Jones doesn't understand. It's about how you conduct yourself throughout the whole of your career. Are you willing to fight the biggest challenges, the biggest tests, go in there and test yourself against everyone? And Jon Jones proved, without a shadow of a doubt, his biggest test, stepped up and he bottled it well and truly. Remember this clip from like over a year ago when Jon actually met Tom in person?
Respect, man. All the best. Respect. All the best. Do a quick picture. Sure. Yeah? Let's get it. A face-off.
Okay. He wouldn't even face off with Tom Aspinall, let alone get in a cage with him. And after all of the fannying around and waiting for Jon Jones to man up and strap his balls on and defend his heavyweight title, because you've never really earned it. You beat a guy who wasn't even the champion. You beat Stipe. Oh my God, what a farce that fight was.
One thing's certain, the MMA world is paying close attention, and fans agree, the heavyweight division has been stuck in limbo for too long. If Jon Jones is truly making a comeback, then it's time to step up and sign the deal. But if he's not serious, it's only fair to let Tom Aspinall move forward and cement his legacy, without all the drama.